The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to the Texas Economic Development webinar called PACE Opportunities in the Central Texas Corridor. This webinar is being recorded, and we are glad you are here. I'm going to start with a couple housekeeping matters. This is Charlene Heidinger with the Texas PACE Authority, and we encourage you to type your questions in the comment box throughout the presentation, and we will address your questions at the end. If you'd like a copy of this recording, you may email Amy at texasedc.org. We're delighted to have you join us with a plethora of speakers this morning, and I will thank them in advance, starting with Carlton Schwab, the President and CEO of the Texas Economic Development Council. Carlton, why don't you take it from here?
Thanks, Charlene, and good morning, everyone. Delighted Charlene, to have you put together this important webinar in these troubled times that we live in. And thank you for your support of our organization. And we're hoping that this is an opportunity for us to help you with your efforts creating a PACE program in Texas. Just I'm curious if you can remember the time you came into my office. What was that, 3 sessions ago?
2012.
It was 2012 when you said that you were in going to work to start a PACE program in our state, and I remember being impressed with your drive and your determination to do that. But as you walked out the door, I was thinking, does she know that it usually takes 2 or 3 sessions to get anything done in the Texas legislature? And lo and behold, you got it done in 1 session. And the success of the PACE program in Texas has just been really fun to watch. And I appreciate you bringing me in to be a part of it as well. Real quickly, TEDC, we're the largest state association of economic developers in the country, with about 875 members. We've been around since 1961 and are governed by a 30-member board and a 9-member executive committee. Again, as many of you know, the area, the professionals that will be presenting in the Central Texas Corridor are going to be talking about one of the most dynamic growth regions in the U.S., if not the world. And we're delighted to really give them the opportunity to talk about their communities, their regions, and what they bring to the table in terms of opportunities for PACE-related investment. Real quickly, one of the things we do is what we're doing right now. We provide opportunities for career development, education, networking, and then every other year we spend our time lobbying for public policy issues related to economic development in the state of Texas. Charlene.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to take a moment to remind everybody what the Texas PACE program is. It's a wonderful economic development opportunity that provides environmental benefits as well. But I don't want to take a lot of time on it. I'm going to just visit PACE for a moment and encourage you to take advantage of the resources listed at the end of this webinar to learn more about PACE. I'm going to review it very quickly and then encourage you to think about the myriad of ways that this program can benefit property owners and managers and developers throughout this region. So PACE is a way to pay for capital projects to buildings that result in energy and water efficiencies, and then it uses those savings from the energy and water efficiencies to pay for the projects. In other words, it's the answer to the question, this is great, but how are we going to pay for it? So what is PACE? It's long-term, low-cost, 100% upfront, private financing for measures applied to buildings and property that make them more energy efficient, water efficient, or create power on site. Where can you use PACE in Texas? You can use it on commercial buildings, industrial facilities, and multifamily properties with at least 5 units. So basically apartment complexes as an example. How does it work? The local governments have created a mechanism that allows the property owner to transfer the costs of these improvements as special property assessments from the business to the property itself. And they are paid back over the useful life. Actually, they are paid back over the life of the financing for PACE, which means these, unlike most other types of financing, these can be stretched out over 20, 25 years, as long as that equipment is the useful life of that equipment. So why are we doing this? This is a voluntary economic development tool that's available at no cost to local governments. They create this mechanism, giving all kinds of new tools to property owners to negotiate with the lenders, the capital providers they want to work with, the architects, engineers, and contractors that they want to work with. This is inserting smart private financing into a capital stack, lowering operating expenses. So just to share, Texas PACE Authority, the nonprofit, the 501c3 that manages this program for local governments in Texas, this is our 5th anniversary. You can see the growth rate as we've increased the number of jurisdictions, as people have come to know a little bit more about this program, you'll see the growth it's taking off. We managed to do 3 million in PACE projects by the end of February this year, before COVID struck everyone. We are getting ready to close another project this week, so it hasn't stopped PACE entirely. In fact, the pipeline of these projects remains strong, and we are very excited about use of PACE going forward. You can see from this that this is being used in all different kinds of property, and that the measures that are being utilized result in energy efficiency, water conservation, distributed generation, creating power on site, a good mix of all of those. So we're going to focus on this Central Texas I-35 corridor today, but I wanted to demonstrate the expansive growth of this program throughout Texas. And our hope is that this might be the first of several regional webinars introducing folks to the economic activity throughout Texas, which is strong and will remain strong. And here's my contact information for you to learn about PACE in Central Texas, but throughout Texas as well. And with that, we're going to start focusing on these wonderful counties in Central Texas, beginning with McLennan County, with Waco as its county seat. And I'm pleased to introduce Chris Collins, who is the Senior Vice President for Economic Development of the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce. And we're delighted to have Chris join us and tell us about the amazing things that are going on in McLennan and all the ways that PACE can be used there.
Great. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, everyone, for being on today. We really appreciate it. Waco has a lot going on, as you probably heard over the past few years. If you'll move to the next slide for us. When we talk about Waco, we're really talking about Greater Waco, which is all of McLennan County. Waco is very much like a Dallas, where you have the largest city in the county being Waco, and then all of the surrounding communities, for the most part, touching Waco, much like you would Dallas. It's hard to tell when you're driving through the city when you've moved from one area to another, and it all just feels like Waco. We have a tremendous amount of resources available. Of course, I-35 runs through the area along with Highway 84 and Highway 6. So direct connectivity north and south, and then all the way into Houston via Highway 6. Our team focuses a lot on the industrial side of things, but there are a lot of opportunities outside of that. We do have 11 different industrial parks in the marketplace, encompassing over 15,000 acres. We recently received in the McGregor Industrial Park on the western part of the county mega site designation, but in addition to that, we have 3 airports, an industrial, executive airport, and then commercial airport with Waco Regional, and then a large transportation system with our public transportation, rail access with Union Pacific, BNSF, and then also an Amtrak stop in the community as well. When you talk about Waco, we really are regional when it comes to our workforce. Not only do we have a strong workforce in McLennan County and a population of over 271,000, the employment locally is strong. We are we attract workers every day. So we are a net in-migration community, drawing from our 7-county region, and have strong relationships with workers between McLennan and Bell, which you'll hear from Adrian Kennedy in a few minutes. We're a really diverse community as well, so you can see that the top 5 industries for employment, trade and transportation, education, health services. We are a regional hub for healthcare in our marketplace. Strong government assets, manufacturing. We lead the state and the nation at 1.5 times the national average when it comes to manufacturing. And then leisure and hospitality is one that's really grown for us over the past few years. We've had a little thing called the Magnolia effect happen with us. And to give you a perspective on what that's meant when it comes to leisure and hospitality, 4 years ago, we were averaging about 600,000 visitors a year. And last year we had over 2.5 million. So it's definitely been a significant increase in the number of folks that are coming to the community. And to put that in another perspective, we now outpace the number of visitors to the Alamo every year. So there's been a lot of growth. We're a college town too. We have 5 universities that are in our marketplace. Baylor University, Texas State Technical College is headquartered in Waco, along with McLennan Community College. And then located on the MCC campus is a university center where Texas Tech University and Tarleton State have campuses there as well. So combined, that's over 33,000 college students in our market. But beyond that, we have a tremendous number of very diverse and great companies. And I think people are always surprised when they come to Waco and drive through and see all the corporate names through our industrial parks and throughout the community. To our west, SpaceX has a large rocket development facility. Mars manufactures almost every Snickers, Skittles, and Starburst that the North America consumes comes out of Waco. We have a really strong aviation sector. Allergan has a manufacturing facility for pharmaceutical eye products. And then we like to have a little fun and make a little whiskey on the side too with our Balcones distillery. So it's great companies located within our community. If you'll transition to the next slide for us. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about some of the opportunities that we have for redevelopment. Our downtown has really gone through a renaissance over the past few years, but there are a few buildings left that are ripe for redevelopment. What you see before you is the W.M.K. Clemens building, built in 1917. Great spot right at the corner of Austin Avenue and 7th Street. And directly behind that building on the next street over, Washington, is the Cairn Shrine building that Magnolia recently purchased and is redeveloping into a boutique hotel. So this is a 3-story, 17,000 square foot building. It's historic tax credit eligible. It's located in an opportunity zone, as is much of our downtown area. It's TIF eligible. It's in the public improvement district as well, and provides some really great opportunity for redevelopment, especially utilizing the PACE program. And then a little bit further down on Austin Avenue is this, I call it an Art Deco redevelopment opportunity. It's currently a furniture store. It was originally built as an HEB in 1951, and it is on the edge of what we call Midtown. So we have downtown where in the heart of the city, and then moving to the west, we've created this new district called the Midtown area. This is right across the street from the public library. It's a very highly trafficked area, a little over 38,000 square feet. It's located in the enterprise zone and would be another opportunity to really look at for a redevelopment, as there's been a lot of spillover effect from the primary downtown into this area. And so this now is going through its own revitalization and provides some unique opportunities for a developer to come in and make new development happen. So with that, I turn it over to my colleagues, but we would welcome the opportunity to visit with you further in the future. Waco definitely has a lot of great things happening, even with the things that are happening with the COVID-19. We're seeing growth opportunities still on the horizon. We've had some projects that have slowed down, but still a number of new hotels that are in the works. We think that there are some new opportunities on the horizon when it comes to new industrial employers that are coming into the marketplace as well. And we see that Waco has great things to provide.
Thank you, Chris. I apologize if I cut you off accidentally by unmuting myself. Waco is a wonderful place to visit, and I hope everyone has an opportunity to discover it in McLennan County soon. There we go. So let's move on to our next county. Bell County is right along the I-35 corridor, and I'd like to introduce you to Adrian Kennedy, the president of the Temple Economic Development Corporation. So the Temple EDC. Adrian?
Thank you, Charlene, and thank you all who are on the call listening, learning about the wonderful things that are happening on the 35 corridor for some of those communities that are outside of the major metro areas of Texas that are growing. I entitled this slide, Meet the New Bell County. It's a statement or slogan we've used for Temple, but it's true for Bell County as well. I'd like to cover a few of those items that are significant in our county that are making a difference in the state of Texas with respect to economic development and opportunities. Next slide.
Amy, I'm unable to advance slides. Do you have any suggestions for me?
Thank you. So Bell County, if you look at that, some people refer to the Golden Triangle. We're kind of in the western leg of that triangle that moves from Dallas-Fort Worth along 35 down to San Antonio. And we really are an area that's growing. Bell County, some of the largest cities in Bell County are Belton, KILLEEN, and Temple. The KILLEEN-Temple MSA is how it's referred to. That includes Lampasas County as well, Coryell. And that's the area we're going to be talking about today. And I wanted to take you through just a few slides with respect to Belton, KILLEEN, and Temple, what's going on there. So Belton has continued to grow at a steady pace over these last 10 years. Within the city limits, they have about 100, or rather 22,000 folks in population in the city limits. Really has developed themselves into a wonderful bedroom community. As they look at their retail trade area, they've had some analysis done that shows that there's a leakage report of about $2 billion annually, that there's opportunities for retailers to come into their area. With respect to investment opportunity, their downtown is really an area that hasn't seen revitalization because it's been vitalized for a while, but really are seeing new opportunities. And it really is a go-to place for charm and for entertainment and for experience in Central Texas. there's some of the numbers that have showed up with respect to the city of Belton. Next slide. Killeen, Texas is one of, or is the largest city in the Killeen Temple MSA and in Bell County. Population of 150,000. They have a higher education presence comprised of Central Texas College and Texas A&M Central Texas. Central Texas College has 6,000 folks that are on campus, but they really serve a population and enrollment of about 16,000 students on any given year. Texas A&M Central Texas is a university that's on the grow there. It's recently received $4 million in grant funds, and they are working at growing research there at Texas A&M Central Texas. Fort Hood is a big part of the Killeen, Texas story, and really a big part of Bell County. And as my colleague Chris had even mentioned, as you think about labor and workforce in our region, and that's something I'm going to touch on a later slide. And of course, they're heavy in industrial, as you might imagine, defense contractors, also manufacturing along the I-14 corridor there that have found a home in Killeen, Texas, and they have 100+ acres available for development. Again, some more demographic trends. You can see Bell County is on the grow, which you consider the last 10 years, about 17% growth in population. And Temple is a big part of that. You know, we've seen a really strong ramp up of new housing starts. For the last 5 years, we have set records for new houses that have started in our area, 960 this last year, which is pretty significant when you consider the size of our community, about 82,000 in population. Again, as we look at employment trends, you see the job growth there. For the Killeen Temple MSA, you got 4.1% in job growth over the last 10 years. But as you look at Temple, you see 19.4% out of that piece. So we've seen and been fortunate to experience a lot of job growth with a lot of companies coming online. And as I go back to the Fort Hood piece and how significant they are for the state of Texas, Central Texas, what we call the Grand Central Texas region going up to McLennan County, we have about 500 to 600 personnel, military personnel transitioning out of the military every month from Fort Hood. And as you think about job opportunities, over 35% of those folks after surveyed remain in Central Texas as long as there's job opportunities that avail themselves. And so as you think about from a community our size, the growth there to support those jobs is significant. As you consider Temple, we represent and manage 5 industrial parks. And you see them illustrated here, but most of that growth is taking place in the industrial park. We do have a corporate campus. A little known fact to Benny when they get on the ground is we are home to 7 corporate headquarters in Temple, Texas, and we're looking to grow that aggressively as well. And again, as we think about Temple and kind of its place in being part of Texas's continued growth and Central Texas's growth, here's a few numbers to share with you. Again, we talked about the record housing starts for the 5th straight year, 8,000 new jobs, almost 20% increase in the last 10 years. And we're really becoming that place from all the way down as far as Round Rock, Georgetown area, even up to Waco, north of us about 40 miles. We have folks commuting in for work and really becoming that place where folks come to not only live, but also work from outside of our region. A couple of nameplates here that you might recognize with significant presence in the community. Again, we have a very diverse economy and business sector. You look at business support services, whether it's software, IT, those corporate headquarters, distribution and logistics, advanced manufacturing, mostly light manufacturing, but we do have some manufacturing in metals and fabrication. And health and life sciences is real big, with Baylor Scott & White having the largest hospital in their system located right here in Temple, Texas. We also have the 4th largest VA hospital here in Temple, Texas in the United States. And so the last slide here is to show you some of the success that we've had over the last 5 years. About $600 million in investment over the last 5 years, and it's shown here for industrial parks. Next slide. So I want to thank you for your time. A lot of opportunities avail themselves in Temple, Texas, with respect to the industrial park scenario and the opportunity to develop a spec building, partner with local entities or outside entities that are looking to establish a local location here in Temple, Texas. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Really appreciate that summary. And now I'd like to try and advance this slide again. There we go. Let me introduce one of our newest counties in the Texas PACE program, Burnett County. And Christian Fletcher, who is the Economic Development Director of the Marble Falls EDC. Christian?
Good morning, everybody. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So talk a little bit about Burnett County. For those of you who may be familiar with the county, it's a pretty bucolic place, very scenic. We're in the beautiful part of the hill country that is also known as the Highland Lakes area. I would say that if your experiences in Burnett County took place more than, say, 10 or so years ago, you might not recognize it. Things have changed a little bit. We have not been overtaken by Austin's growth, but we've certainly been influenced by it. So I'll talk a little bit more about that here as you move to the next slide, if you don't mind. So what you're looking at here, I know you've seen a lot of maps so far, but this is information that came out recently from the U.S. Census Bureau talking about numeric population change by county since 2010. And the darker green counties are those counties that added more than 5,000 new net new residents during that window. And I've highlighted Burnett County there because Burnett County is one of 3 of the fastest growing non-MSA counties in the state. The other 2 are north of the Houston MSA. So we're seeing the growth, but we're not pulled into the Austin MSA, at least at this point. That may change come 2020. Our understanding was that the thing that has kept us from being part of the MSA was the percentage of commuters from Burnett County going into Travis County. So as I mentioned, we are lucky to see the growth that is happening throughout a lot of central Texas, but we're still a rural county. We still have less than 50,000 people in Burnett County. Next slide. So the components of the migration activity into Burnett County, as you might imagine, are a lot of it is baby boomers coming from the more urban areas retiring to the Highland Lakes, but we are excited and very interested to see also that younger families are moving in. So the average household size of the people moving into Burnett County is creeping up ever so slowly. So it's not only baby boomers, it is people with families, and most of those are coming from Travis and Williamson County into Burnett County. So since 2010, the growth that has occurred, we've added just over 5,600 net new residents. We've added over $450 million in net new household income, and the average household income has jumped from $55,000 in 2010 to just over $80,000 in 2018. So this is 1 year behind the Census Bureau information because this is the IRS migration data that we track pretty closely. So as you might imagine, West Texas likes coming to the hill country. Not a lot of trees when you get too far west of here, and so I think they appreciate the water and the greenery of the hill country. Next slide. So here's a quick snapshot of kind of what's been happening in the county. I say 2010 to 2019, but really everything that you see here has been in the last 5 years. So we've added just over 2,500 net new employees in Burnett County. Our total wages have increased by 53%, and our gross sales have doubled to $2 billion. Again, Burnett County has just under 50,000 people in total. Marble Falls is, I guess, technically the largest city in the county with just under 7,000 people. Burnett has, I think 25 or 30 less people than Marble Falls. So we're almost identically sized in terms of population. But most of our population is scattered throughout the county. So Burnett is the county seat, has the beautiful square around the courthouse there. Marble Falls is more of a lake community and kind of the economic hub of the region. And so what you see here are some examples of projects that have taken place, as I mentioned, just over the last 5 years, really. Next slide, please. So when we shift into PACE opportunities, Burnett County doesn't have a whole lot of existing industrial stock. We just don't have large vacant buildings throughout the county. It's most of our businesses are small businesses. We don't have a huge job base in manufacturing. We do have quite a few employed in the mining and quarrying industries with Granite Mountain and the limestone in the area. But what we do have are some kind of cool opportunities in our historic downtown areas. And I've shared a few here, those being the old Robinson building in Burnett on the square, and then also the Uptown Theater in Marble Falls. It's operating sporadically as a live music venue, and people enjoy going there, but it's an older building that's in need of quite a bit of deferred maintenance and repairs. It is currently on the market, and I think could be a great opportunity. It is in our downtown area in Marble Falls, and so it's also in a TERS district. So these are just a couple of examples. Again, we don't have the huge industrial space, but we do have some historic downtown buildings in Marble Falls, Burnett, also in Bertram. I don't have any examples of those in Bertram, but that may be another opportunity as well. So with that, I think the next slide is just my contact information. Appreciate y'all's time, and look forward to visiting with any of you who might be interested in talking more about something in Burnett County.
Thank you so much, Christian. There we go. So Williamson County was one of the earliest counties to establish a PACE program, and I am delighted to encourage you to visit Williamson and to hear from Nicole Vance. Nicole is the Director of Business Attraction for the Round Rock Chamber of Commerce, but she's also very active in the leadership of the WILCO, Williamson County Economic Development Partnership. Nicole?
Thank you. Welcome, and thank you, Carlton and Charlene, for the opportunity to introduce Williamson County today. One word really represents the current state of Williamson County, and that's growth. Growth in business, in population, and in the services that are needed to take care of the people living and working in the county. We're one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Texas, and we have been for more than a decade. And Charlene, if you want to go to the next slide, that'd be great. And in terms of today's discussion, we are very centrally located. We sit just north of the city of Austin. And as a matter of fact, two of the largest cities in central Texas are in Williamson County, and they butt up against Austin's northern boundaries, so that's Cedar Park and Round Rock. The county is big. We occupy a land area of just over 1,100 square miles, and its population growth ranks 4th in the state and 14th in the country. Next slide. The cities that make up Williamson County work together to provide an opportunity for its current residents, future residents. We do this by joining together in an effort to market the county via a program known as Williamson County Economic Development Partnership. The joint effort between Lansing County and its encompassing communities creates a voice for the county in bringing in new business development. So each of the cities within the county work together to market, advertise, and attract new business to the community. Next, Charlene. That partnership has been very successful, and between 2016 and 2018 resulted in adding an additional 9,100 jobs and over $2.5 billion in new investment into the county and partnering communities. Today, next slide. Today, the population in the county is just under 600,000. We're expected to reach a population of 1.6 million in the next 20 to 30 years. The county's labor shed extends from just past the southern end of Austin to Temple along Interstate 35 and encompasses more than 800,000 relatively young, well-educated workers. The growth means we're in need of solid infrastructure, with each city and the county they're very diligent about it. We've had wonderful access to highways, toll roads, and we sit within close proximity to 3 major airports. Several of the cities have either metro rail or bus services. Additionally, as important as the transportation or education and healthcare, both of which are in abundance in the county, with over 7 higher education institutions and several major hospital systems, including St. David's, Baylor Scott and White, and Ascension Seton. Next, Charlene. The large population is a direct reflection of our highly diverse business sectors, and those sectors include information technology, innovative manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and agriculturally based businesses. Next. We are home to Dell's headquarters with over 13,000 employees, Emerson Process Management, with over 875 employees, Dover Fueling, and several other large organizations, as well as many small businesses and entrepreneurs. The diversity helps to support our highly educated and skilled workforce and creates a unique supportive ecosystem within the community. Next. So what does this mean for our future, and what does our future look like? Well, as we transform from bedroom communities to employment centers, many of the cities are considering what the future holds, and for several of the cities in Williamson County, that means taking a look at redevelopment and revitalization. We want to foster maintenance and reuse of redevelopment for aging commercial centers while adapting to shifts in consumer preference. We want to be relevant while promoting environmental sustainability. And this is something where, PACE can really be very impactful for us, where we can take some of those decrepit existing employment centers, retail centers, and really give them a facelift and become relevant to the new population that's moving into the county, and will help us also to stay relevant. Next, there's 2 projects that I wanted to kind of highlight today. One is in Cedar Park, at Cedar Park's Bell District, and then the other one is an 8.5 acre site in Round Rock. The Bell District is going to replace and revitalize existing buildings and structures along Bell Boulevard, which is an outdated, underperforming area of Cedar Park. The project will include residential, retail, office, and social areas. And the project is a great opportunity for the PACE program. And I don't want to go too heavily into what this entire project is going to look like, but if you'd like more information on it, the URL is listed here on the PowerPoint presentation. Please take a look at that, and I'm happy to put you in contact with the individuals at Cedar Park that are running that project, because I do think that there's a lot of opportunity there. Next. The site in Round Rock is an old Featherlight building. They used to make bricks and other pavers and stones at the site. It sits on approximately 8.5 acres, and it's located along Interstate 35. It consists of a handful of decrepit buildings, lots of concrete, and its proximity to the interstate and nearby amenities really makes it a great location for a business base. It's really a current eyesore. It's in need of quite a bit of work, but we're working with interested parties currently who'd like to revitalize the building to use them as manufacturing, retail, and showroom type of space. Again, another great opportunity for the PACE program to come in and really help us get these buildings to where they need to be so that they are viable and productive within the community. Next. The Williamson County, we're large. There's many opportunities here, and I'd be happy to connect you with economic development representatives in each city. Please reach out to me using the contact information on the screen. And, I just want to thank you all for your time and for me being able to highlight Williamson County to you. Again, my contact information is on the screen. Reach out to me as needed.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I really appreciate that great review. And with that, we're going to move to Travis County, which was the first county to establish a PACE program in Texas. And I'm pleased to introduce you to Diana Ramirez, who is the Director for Economic Development and Strategic Investments in Travis County. Diana?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Before I get started on this, I'm very excited to announce that this morning in Travis County Commissioners Court, the Commissioners Court approved allocating $10 million from our Corona Relief funds that we received from the federal government last week for a small business grant program. It's the first time Travis County has started or had any kind of small business, either lending or grant program. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to expand what we do and really reach out to our small businesses in Travis County. It's a very exciting time right now to be able to help our business community that's really suffering right now. So today I just wanted to go over some of the kind of our policy stances in Travis County and what we look for and all the opportunities that are available to integrate PACE financing into your projects. You can get on to the next slide. Thank you. We've had two PACE projects completed in Travis County since we got started in 2015. $1.8 million of were invested. One of the things that I think is important to note for Travis County is we've had such a hot economy for so long. Everybody's a little worried right now with the coronavirus and what that's going to do as far as an economic slowdown. But the good news for Travis County is in the last two economic slowdowns, our slowdown was shallower. Our negative impacts were shallower. We were the last into the recession and the first out. And that's because we have a very diverse set of industries in the county that are anchored by the state government, the University of Texas, plus two other universities, Houston-Tillotson, a historically Black college, St. Edward's University, Concordia University, and Austin Community College. And Austin Community College is a good note because they really focus on worker training and upskilling workers, and they're a great benefit to the economy in Travis County. The opportunities that we see from the perspective of Travis County is with climate change, hotter weather, and drought, you're going to see that you're really going to get your bang for your buck in your operating expenses from having cleaner energy. COVID-19, again, the impact of telework on the electric grid when you have to have buildings open, but only partially, and then you have a bunch of people working from home is going to impact pricing for electricity. And so the more you have, the better infrastructure, utility infrastructure, the better your bottom line will be for your facilities. Again, Atlas 14 with the changes in weather and greater flooding, we're going to have fewer green fields for development, so renovation and redevelopment will be more attractive. The county has over 14,000 commercial, industrial, and manufacturing real property parcels. So there are a lot of facilities available throughout the county that could benefit from these kinds of upgrades. I am going to focus though on an example of a county project. It's called Palm School. And Palm School is a building that's been around since the late 1800s. And it was a school at the very beginning and then has changed uses over the decades, and now is home to our Health and Human Services headquarters. We're building a new headquarters a little bit north of downtown, more towards the center of the population of clients that use our Health and Human Services. And so what the Commissioners Court is planning to do is to sell or ground lease the property. We've had a historic structure report published, and you have the URL on the slide. You can go and read that document. It's very voluminous. We went into great detail to see how it was used, what the historical fabric of the building is, so that it can be renovated. And Commissioners Court late last year approved restrictive covenants, and those are going to be included in the property deed and will be required to be followed by any new owner of the Palm School property. And that's to ensure its historic and cultural preservation. So the restrictive covenants basically are to obligate the new owner to restore the primary preservation area. And that, if you can look at the top left corner, it's what's bordered in red lines. It's the original building, and has to be done within 5 years of purchase and has to be maintained in perpetuity. 80% of the primary preservation area has to be dedicated to 6 types of uses, and those are on the right-hand side of the slide, for community event space, community meeting rooms, museum space, nonprofit office space, artist studio space, and educational program space. And the idea is that we want to keep that historic building open to the public and for use for cultural and historic uses. Then the north half of the parcel can be redeveloped to the extent that the development guidelines and zoning allow. And so Travis County has done something like this before, where we went through a sale process, competitive sale process for ground lease or fee simple sale. It was very well received by the business community, and we want to do that again. And we believe that the PACE financing could be a nice addition to the capital stack to help manage costs and also manage the ongoing operating costs. So next steps for Palm School, because of the COVID-19 emergency, we've delayed work on it. We were in the process of hiring a team to help the county through the sale and ground lease solicitation process. It's going to be delayed a few months. We're waiting to see how the economy begins to reopen, and once things stabilize, we'll get started on that again. We're hoping that we can move on this in the next several months and start working through our process. Then, if anyone's interested in this, at this point, we're going through we're still considered in a procurement process on hold. So you can just reach out to our purchasing office, and they can get you on their list to notify if you have any interest in this project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. That is fascinating, and it's so fun to step back into Travis County, which started the whole Texas PACE initiative. We're grateful to you and the other leaders in the county. We're going to move to Bastrop County, one of our beautiful PACE areas, with an example you're going to hear about of how successful PACE can be in a rural community as well. And I think she wanted to make sure that we were still awake. But Adina Lewis, who is the Director of Tourism and Economic Development, is starting with this slide, which is a part of Bastrop County I haven't seen yet. Adina?
Yes, and I just wanted to make sure people knew what we look like now. Perhaps some of you haven't been to Bastrop County in a while. Certainly this isn't what we look like. I'll show you a later slide something that more directly represents Bastrop County of today. But I think the Bastrop County that you might be familiar with could be a little different. Just like our other counties that have spoken today, we indeed are showing growth in Bastrop County that makes us extremely proud. If you look at what the estimated population growth is, of the 4 counties that are in the East region, Bastrop County will indeed have the highest expected growth. Part of this is due, of course, to our positioning right next to Travis County and our great partners in Travis, Williamson, and Hayes counties. It's also because of our positioning with regards to the Houston market. We see growth certainly coming from the East as well. Folks wanting to get into environments that are more family oriented, more lifestyle oriented than perhaps some of the hustle and bustle that they've seen develop in their lifestyles in some of the larger metropolitan areas. This growth is very positive for Bastrop County. We have leadership in Bastrop County and in our 3 major communities that welcome growth. We have folks who really do roll out that red carpet that businesses and individuals like to have happen. So let me show you a little bit more. This is Bastrop County. We kind of like the shape of Bastrop County, but important in our future development, we feel, will be these opportunity zones. At the top of the screen, at the top of our county, is the city of Elgin. Elgin has had a very major residential growth, and it's been followed by infrastructure growth, a very progressive city that is certainly planning for this growth, making opportunities for this growth available. The opportunity zone that you see in kind of the green color represents the Cedar Creek portion of Bastrop County. This is not an incorporated area, but as you can see, it crosses very close to the Travis County line. You can also see how 71 and 290 run through, paralleling through Bastrop County as major transportation hubs. Some of the good news about what's happening with that is expansion in both 290 and Highway 71. If you've driven to Bastrop County from the west, you have you've seen some construction going on. More of that will be continuing. Traffic lights that now occur along Bastrop County will be disappearing as TxDOT expands the overheads going through Bastrop County. So the movement of traffic through Bastrop County on both 290 and 71 is going to be helped. So the eastern opportunity zone, the purple opportunity zone, kind of surrounds the community of Smithville. Again, a community that's showing growth. And those opportunity zones encompass a large amount of rural area with great accessibility. In the middle of the county is our county seat, the city of Bastrop. Again, a community that's shown large growth, residential as well as retail. The trade zone for the city of Bastrop is actually quite large. And so we've seen an expansion of retail development in that area. ACC has a campus in the city of Elgin that services our residents there. And all 3 of our school districts provide excellent opportunities for workforce training and education. Bastrop County, the city of Bastrop, will be welcoming the Art Institute that will be moving out to this area in for its next full year. You can go ahead and go to the next slide if you'd like. That'll be fine. We have had a successful PACE project in Bastrop County, and one of the reasons I think Charlene invited us to be a part of your presentation today is because of the story of this little project. This is a local businessman who put together a USDA grant and convinced his local bank that they needed to be involved in PACE financing. This has been a very successful project, small, but successful, and it's given Bastrop County kind of a taste of the potential that PACE offers for other businesses and business owners and developers in our area in the future. So I am Adina Lewis. I represent Bastrop County as the Director of Tourism and Economic Development. Nothing in Bastrop County happens without partnerships. Cameron Cox is the Executive Director of the City of Bastrop EDC. Owen Rock is the Executive Director of the City of Elgin's EDC. The City of Smithfield does not have an Economic Development Corporation, but has a very proactive Economic Development Committee through the Chamber. And Robert Tamble would be your major contact inside the City of Elgin. Because of our proximity to the Austin airport, and also having an airport in Smithville, we find that those are advantages as well to the development of Bastrop County. We have affordable land. We have a workforce that is prepared to go to work. We have lots of folks who are now driving to work in other places, who are anxious to spend more time providing workforce inside Bastrop County. So through our organization BEST, Bastrop, Elgin, Smithfield, Texas, we certainly invite folks to come and look and see what Bastrop County is all about. Charlene, show them what it's really like. Show us that next slide. Oops, there you go. That's probably more realistic view of Bastrop County as it sits today. And what we encourage is opportunities for people to bring projects to help us fill our very affordable land, to help us get our workforce quite busy, and help us create another great opportunity along the I-35 corridor. I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you, Adina. That was wonderful. Our final speaker is here to tell us about Hays County. So as we conclude this tour down I-35, I'm pleased to introduce you to Jason Giulietti, who is the president of the Greater San Marcos Partnership. Jason?
Excellent, Charlene. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for participating today. It's a pleasure to be with all my colleagues along the I-35 corridor here in Central Texas. So I'll happy to back clean up here and share perspective on our region and what we represent. As you heard, the region is fast growing, and certainly this part of Central Texas is no exception. So I start with sharing a little overview of what we are and who we are. We have branded ourselves over the last several years the Texas Innovation Corridor. And really what that's based upon is our geographic proximity to Austin and San Antonio, given we sit directly in the middle of the two. Our anchor town, San Marcos, Texas, is located right in the center of Hays County and is the largest community within Hays County that sits just south of Austin and just north of San Antonio by about a 30-minute drive in each direction. We also are home to a large university, which is part of this Texas Innovation Corridor branding, with University of Texas sitting in Austin and University of Texas San Antonio down the road to our south. The Innovation Corridor is supported by our patent activity. Our region here in Greater San Marcos area represents 11 times more patent activity per capita than the rest of the state of Texas, and 9 times more that of the United States. So there's a lot of really neat activity happening down here, a lot of amazing innovation, which is really the future of the economy. So I share that for perspective as we get a little bit deeper. Next slide, please. When you look at who we are as an organization, we are a 2-county economic development organization. We represent both Hays County and Caldwell County. Hays County is where I'm going to focus our time, as that is part of the PACE program, and we're certainly hopeful that we will have Caldwell part of that program as well in the future. We represent the southernmost part of the Austin Metropolitan Statistical Area, or MSA. Hays County as a whole is a population north of 200,000. And as everyone mentioned, their population growth, happy to share that, again, we're no different for counties around the country with a population of greater than 50,000. Hays County is actually the fastest growing county in the United States. So a tremendous amount of migration to our region, principally for our affordability, our location, obviously between Austin and San Antonio, and the fact we are very, very business friendly and very proactive to grow our economy, provide better jobs to our residents, and create better economic opportunity. We're also right nestled on the edge of hill country, so beautiful diversity in our communities for quality of life and for our residents and our businesses. Next slide, please. To give you a little better perspective on what our region looks like as it relates to drive time, because that is certainly what a lot of Texans do. we look at everything through the amount of time we spend in our vehicles. We're really at that epicenter, as you can see, between Austin and San Antonio. And as of the latest numbers, represent a population within a 45-minute radius of just shy of 3 million people, and ever growing, as you can imagine, with the counties around us being some of the fastest growing alongside Hays County in the nation. Our workforce draw is a little over 1.5 million in that 45-minute radius, and we're pulling workers everywhere from North Austin to San Antonio. So we make ourselves a very strategic location along this I-35 corridor, as well as some of the ancillary highways you can see there, SH-130, the fastest highway in the country with legal speed limits of 80, 85 miles an hour, certainly provide us another access point to move product and people around our region. Next slide, please. We're also home to Texas State University. Texas State University is right now the 5th largest university in the state of Texas. We represent about 38,000 students at the university that we call it sits at our front door, because quite honestly, in the city of San Marcos in particular, the university is about a block off of our city square. That is our county seat and home to our county offices as well. So we have a tremendous college town feel to our community in San Marcos. But then in our surrounding communities, and what we offer is that diversity. Kyle, Texas, Buda, Texas are really suburbs of Austin, and certainly provide the quality of life that families are looking for with the affordability to go with that. San Marcos as a whole is that college town feel that is growing into a major economic driver for our region. A tremendous amount of activity in economic development and projects that have come to our region over the last several years, which I'll speak to in a moment. But in addition, Texas State is home to Star Park, echoing again that innovation corridor. Here you're looking at an advanced materials and research park, which is one of the only ones in Texas. So excited to share that. They have some unique programs that differentiate their expertise from our neighbors in at UT as well as in Texas A&M. Oh, you can go forward. Thank you. When you look at our economy and kind of who we represent, swing back one slide, please. Our economy is very diversified. We continue to work on ensuring that we diversify our economy for times just like this, where one specific sector or two sectors may be hit very hard. We have other sectors that can quickly make up the slack for lost revenues and lost engagement on employment. So you can see we continually diversify who we are, represented across many different sectors. And if you jump to that next slide, some of those companies that are here, we have a large Amazon distribution center, just about 1 million square feet we're home to here in San Marcos. It is one of their larger distribution centers, and I'm proud to share some unique facets about that center. When we talk to our friends at Amazon down the road here, they've noted to us that our Amazon facility is actually in the top 5 globally for productivity. So we have we have several thousand employees that work at the Amazon facility with the productivity level that is unprecedented around the world. So happy to report you have an amazing workforce that resides here in San Marcos. We're also home to a company called CFAN. This is if you've flown any Boeing jet, which likely you may have, They make the turbofan blades that go inside those Boeing jets that allow the planes to take off. They're made right here in San Marcos, and a very large growing employer. As you can see, advanced manufacturing plays throughout much of our community, but we are diversified with distribution centers as well, given our geographic location and ability to move product. We also are home to some of the largest outlet malls in the United States. We have a large Tanger and Simon Outlet Center that sits right in our city. So a lot of diversity in types of companies. We continue to diversify who we attract and what we work towards. And I will share a little bit on what our goals are and what we can continue to work on. But next slide, please. Just to give you a little sense on what these communities look like in terms of demographics. San Marcos is the largest community in Hays County with a population north of 60,000. We have a young community, as you can see, outside of Lockhart, which is in Caldwell. So please direct yourself to San Marcos, Kyle, and Buda. The average age is very low. We have a young population. I think the affordability to live in our region and have employment, whether it's in Austin or in our region, is plentiful. So there is a great way to create a strong quality of life and make a very good living, enjoying a nice lifestyle that we have down here, given our outdoor amenities similar to many of our communities in Central Texas. So as you can see, we're a diverse community. We represent a good different segments of the population. And our goal continuously as an organization is to increase that economic opportunity. So when you look at wages, we're certainly an affordable region, which is why I think we see so much economic development activity. But at the same point, our goal is to increase that number and create a better quality of life for those residents here and continue to attract stronger and better workforce to our region. Next slide, please. As in all the other organizations, we're driven by strategies. So our 5-year strategy plan is defined by target industries. And our organization as a whole focuses and works on attracting these industries that you see listed. We feel through a variety of research and inner workings within what we offer and our strengths that these are the key industries that are best suited for our region, albeit we continue to look at others, but certainly these are our focus areas. And we've had success stories in every single one of these target industries over the last several years. And we're about to set path on a new 5-year strategy with many of these industries remaining top priorities. We continue to see large scale investment in our community. I would just summarize, the biggest challenge we have is available space. So a little bit unique from our neighboring communities to our north that have some older existing inventory and infrastructure. We, because of our fast growth and our region taking off recently, we're more in the development of new buildings, new construction. We have a little over 2 million square feet of speculative industrial space that is online or coming online in the very near future. And those buildings, as they go up, get occupied very, very quickly. And I think there's opportunities to work with those companies that are taking kind of shell spaces and utilizing those opportunities to do exactly what this program can offer and bring some more efficient ways to do their business, better ways to create sustainable business practices, and essentially engage with us as an opportunity. So thank you again for listening to the little bit about Hays County. Certainly happy to answer questions, and our organization, and myself included, are here as resources to help you through any of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Looking at our questions area, and I don't see any questions, this is a great time to ask them. If you want to visit with our speakers today before we wrap up, I am delighted that all of them could participate. As you can see, Central Texas is an enormous opportunity for business, for expansion, renovation of an amazing real estate economy. It's also a beautiful destination. I don't think any of these slides missed an opportunity to show you how beautiful this part of the country is. So another reason to come and invest as well. It'll be a personal as well as a professional opportunity for you. We will be providing the slides. If you would like to obtain them, please email me. These are contacts for everyone, and you'll be able to get all those contacts through the slides. If you would like the recording, please email Amy Swank, who's the operations director at the Texas Economic Development Council. Amy is at amy@texasedc.org, TEDC.org, amy@TEDC, messed that up. But if you look at Carlton Schwab's email and just insert Amy, you'll figure it out. Let's see, I've got one question here. Yes, so if you want the slides, you'll see my email at the very bottom of this slide currently. Just reach out to me. And finally, there are a number of resources available to you to learn more about the PACE program. We wanted to spend the bulk of today showing you the opportunities in Central Texas for which you can use this program, and we hope this has been helpful. I want to thank Carlton Schwab and Amy Swank at Texas Economic Development Council for hosting this webinar today and making this possible. And again, you heard from some wonderful folks that I hope you'll introduce yourself to directly. Chris Collins in Waco, Adrian Kennedy in Temple, Christian Fletcher in Marble Falls, Nicole Vance in Round Rock, Texas, Diana Ramirez in Austin, Adina Lewis in Bastrop, and Jason in San Marcos. And with that, thanks to all of them for speaking today, and thank you for attending. We're so glad you spent this part of your day with us today. Give us your feedback. Thank you, and have a great day.